errors are almost always made in the favor of the house. Quite often you might look on your bill, you'll see the right number of things, but for example there'll be a vastly more expensive bottle of wine which is somehow wandered over from someone else's table. You've got to look out for that. Service charges are a problem as well. Most restaurants these days add 12.5% to 15% service charge, but often when you get your credit card slip, the window at the bottom is left open, inviting you to add more. Now, you shouldn't have to, and that's a very, very shady practice. You should watch out for those things. I'm always worried about bills that appear to be written in hieroglyphics, well, like a doctor's prescription. You have no idea what it is, the waiter has no idea, the proprietor probably doesn't even know, but it adds up to a rather hefty amount of money. So even though sometimes you might feel embarrassed about it, it's always worth checking your bill. It's always worth asking questions about it as well, because after all, at the end of the meal, you're the one who's paying for it.
So we're now going to show you a trick which is practiced in bars all over the world. People get ripped off in every corner of the globe with a very simple trick. And we have a group of very illustrious gentlemen and women, the world's press. Would you like to try this one? Which newspaper are you from?
I'm from the Daily Express, and this tastes to me like gin and tonic.
I'm from the Daily Mail, and that's a gin and tonic.
Today newspaper?
Gin and tonic.
Another gin and tonic.
Gin and tonic, I think.
Well, John, is it a gin and tonic, in fact?
Well, it is, and it isn't. The secret is in the saucer.
And the secret certainly is in the saucer. What they do in some unscrupulous bars is, for example, they get a saucer, and in the saucer is just a little bit of gin, about that much gin in the bottom of the saucer. They get a hold of a glass, they put the glass upside down into the saucer, so you've got gin all around the rim of the glass. Then it's filled up with tonic, ice and lemon. So you take a sip of the drink, and what happens? You taste the gin on the rim of the glass, and you smell it with your nose on the other side of the glass. You think you've got a very nice, strong drink. In point of fact, you've been ripped off.
Well, here we are back in the studio, and once again it's time to play Beat the Cheat. I have my willing volunteer here. What's your name?
Jan.
Jan, and what do you do for a living?
I'm a scientist.
Almost a cheat by yourself, then?
Yeah.
Well, you get the famed baton button, and you know what's going to happen. We're going to run a bit of film for you, and if you see the cheat, hit the button. Let's run that film.
Sir, it's $5.25. Thank you. $10. $5.25 out of 10. Okay, sir, your change. Have a very nice day.
Any ideas, Jan?
No idea, no.
Well, let me give you a clue. Did you see what he did with the money?
No, I didn't notice.
Strangely unobservant there, Jan. He actually passed it under a tap. So what would that make his hands and the money?
Wet.
You're recovering very fast here, Jan. When he puts the money into your hands, it makes your own hand wet. This is a trick known as wet toweling in the trade. Because your hand is wet and the money's wet, you immediately put the money into your pocket and you start wiping your hands on your trousers, on a nearby bar towel, or perhaps even a nearby person, Jan. But what's important is that you've put the money into your pocket. You've been short-changed, but because it's in your pocket, you've got no comeback from it at all. You've been wet-toweled by a cheat.
We wanted to find the world's greatest expert on not getting ripped off in nightclubs. And to talk to him, we had to come to the east coast of the USA. He's one of Britain's most successful exports. He started public life as a club owner in the north of England. Now he's the style counselor to the rich and famous world over, with nightclubs in Florida, Los Angeles and London. Peter Stringfellow.
I'm the prime candidate to be ripped off. I always get ripped off. I mean, I'm Peter Stringfellow, so if they know who I am, they invariably think I've got more money than sense. In fact, they can have a go. It's okay by me.
Now, what are some of the most common rip-offs in nightclubs?
Okay, now it depends on the nightclub. First and foremost, if you're going to start looking for the cheap, bargain basement, free drinks with your admission, you're going to get ripped off. For instance, it goes like this. Free champagne all night for girls. Well, if you believe that, you believe anything. What you're going to get is free sparkly water that's a big yellow colour. And somehow it makes you drunk. Yeah!
Often when you're in hotels or in holiday resorts, you see little leaflets lying around saying, you know, come along to our club, come along to our disco, free entrance.
Oh, yeah. Well, what you usually say, it doesn't usually say free entrance. What it says is, this is an invitation to come to whatever they call the club. And, of course, you turn up with your invitation and you're a little bit hesitant because you've read all about how difficult these clubs are to get in, and you present your invite. By that time, you're in the doorway, and the guy goes, certainly, sir, that's three of you, that'll be $60, $20 each. And you go, but it says Now you've got to make a move. You either embarrass your girlfriend or your friends, or you pay. And what happens? 8 times out of 10, they pay.
One more opportunity to play Beat the Cheat. Unbeknownst to yourself, some of you have been robbed. Is there anyone on this side of the audience who arrived with a wristwatch and doesn't have it now? And I must say, I can hardly bear to look. Good heavens. Is there anyone on this side of the audience that had money when they arrived and don't have it now?
Yeah, well, don't worry, because here in this polythene bag, we've got all your money, all your wallets, and all your wristwatches and jewellery.
And thank you for being so good-spirited about it. Look, person over there lost about 300 quid. He's laughing his socks off.
On holiday, your worst nightmare can be a character like this. He's a professional pickpocket known as a dip. A top man can take up to $10,000 a day, rarely working more than 3 days in the same location. Don't be fooled into thinking that he works alone. He may be part of a larger team known as a jug troop, who specialize in working outside banks and currency shops. An inside man spots an intended victim, known as the mark. Tipped off, the dip bumps against the victim in the street and steals his wallet, known as a poke. Note how the dip passes it to a man called the train driver. He makes off with it so that the dip will be clean if he's caught and searched. With the Paris dip, the newspaper-filled sleeve leaves the cheat one hand free to score from the tourist's open bag.
About the worst place to carry your wallet is the back pocket. He didn't even feel his wallet go. But where's his cash? He's got more sense than to keep it in his back pocket. But down here, that's the most secure place for it, is it?
If you open it, there's something else inside.
It's amazing what men carry in their wallets these days. This one was certainly well prepared.
We thought that one of the ways to beat the cheat was to find ourselves a pickpocket, somebody who knows the tricks of the trade. Now, Keith Charnley demonstrates street pickpocketing techniques to police courses and to the big stores, and on stage he operates as Keith the Thief. Will you welcome, please, Keith Charnley? What about me now? Would I be an easy target? What do you think?
Yeah. You've already told me you've got a wallet and a pocket holder, so yeah. All we need now is a form of distraction, so if I can give you a demonstration... Yeah, can you stand up for this?
Sure.
Yeah, all we need is some form of distraction.
Well, there's plenty of them
yeah,
there.
Perhaps the James Well or the Bobby Davro technique, which is... as you can see, this is very messy, you know, so, perhaps if I could dust you down a bit.
You probably just fused the studio.
Oops, sorry, should we put that?
Yeah.
Right, see, and we steal the wallet. Yeah. And you're doing all right, Mr. Stalker.
Yeah. There's a couple of white ones in there as well.
Incidentally, we're talking about this is the inside pocket. It's generally more safe. A lot of people do carry the money in the back pocket, and that is obviously very dangerous. If you have got anything of value, trouser pocket is normally a lot safer. But if you do have an inside pocket, and especially if you've got it a button, then use it.
Put it,
obviously, and then it's a lot safer. And if I go near it, you'll know.
That's right.
But hang on to your wallet.
Keith Charnley, thank you very much.
Well, that's it from this edition of Beat the Cheat. With one parting piece of advice, remember that not every stranger you meet will be a cheat, but every cheat will be a stranger.
And it's goodbye from me with a small confession. I've been doing a little cheating myself during the show. And for those of you who haven't worked out what it is, watch the end credits very carefully. Until we meet again, goodbye.